Good evening, brothers. Hello, how you guys doing? Nice to see you tonight. How is everybody today? Please give me a shout out in chat if you can hear me okay. Hello, Jonathan, how you doing? We'll be entering 1500 point league next week. Plan on taking the vets out. Do you know what? We're going to be putting some paint on vets tonight, so just a little bit here and there, I think. I did bring out one of my vets, so I kind of know how I remember that I'm painting them. But I'm going to be working on a few different vets tonight, and might have a little time to work on something else tonight if we've got like almost 2.5 hours tonight, so it's a nice amount of time, I guess. We fire up some music. Cool. Felix, good evening. Benjamin, how you doing? Nice to see you guys. Happy Friday night. Sounds good, Commander. Hey, Arcsuit. What's good? What's good? What's good? Yeah, so Vanguard Vets tonight. I need to get... Ideally, I need to put red onto 5 with Lightning Claws, yeah. So I've got more than 5 here, just off camera, I guess. And I've got one that I painted earlier, so this is the style that we're going for with these vets. So I'm probably going to start on the shield and put a bit of red onto the shield. I might rim the shoulder pads, and then we'll see how much time we have left. Maybe I'll rim their feet as well. I always make mess when I rim the feet, so we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, super excited to finally have a date for some games, and also to have some lists that we know we're playing up against. If you guys didn't catch the lists that we're going to be playing this week, is that my Discord making noises? Probably. I'm not actually sure how you tell Discord to be quiet. There's probably a way to tell it to be quiet somehow. But if you didn't see the lists, then I posted my army list finally into... and it's an army list I've been working on for like months now because of the lockdown, right? So I think it's a pretty strong list. But I guess we're going to give it a run out properly this week, so it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited to get back to the tabletop. It has been far too long. And we've got we're using the same list against both armies, and we're going to be playing a game against Death Guard, and we're going to be playing a game against Custodes. So, that's happening on Monday. Good evening, Robert, how you doing? Good evening, Adam, nice to see you. Happy Saturday night, hope you guys are well. Normally, like, of a normal week, I might ask people, like, hey, did you have a good weekend? What did you get up to? But, I mean, in the lockdown now, it's like, we do the same thing every friggin' weekend, right? So, what can you do, eh? So, in hindsight, I totally should have magnetized my Vanguard veterans, because then I probably wouldn't be painting these shields and all this nonsense again, but I didn't, so here we are, painting shields again. Another 10 of them to go, basically. It took me a long time to paint these guys, like, maybe like 6 weeks or something, because I wasn't really sure the style that I was going for or the colours as well, so I mean that slowed me down a bit, but I guess we're working on another 9 of them. Do adjust your list on which army you're playing. Well, that's the whole thing, Benjamin. I'm trying to build a list for 9th edition that isn't going to be adjusted, right? So it's just it's a strong army against everything. So we made the lists blind. So like I didn't know what the Custodes were taking. I didn't know what the Death Guard was taking. I'm just trying to build the strongest Blood Angels list that I can field based on the units I have, etc, etc. And really I want to get to a point where like, and I think this list is close, that basically the list doesn't change, right? You said like, if you're going to change your list for every battle you're going to play, sure, you could win every battle, but you're not gonna do well if you take that list to like a tournament or something, because you're not gonna be able to change it before every game, right? So I'm trying to essentially build a tournament list that is just one list and it doesn't change. It doesn't matter who we're fighting up against. It's always the same list. So that's essentially what I'm working on. And that list is ready. So I mean, that list, you'll see, like I finalized the list. You'll see it run up in 2 games on Monday on the channel. We're gonna be live. Hey Marcel, German Tanker. Hello, welcome. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for following. So yeah, we've got 2 games on Monday with that list, and if that list does, like, if they win both the games, then maybe that list isn't far from being finished, you know, like ready for a tournament or something. If we lose both games, or if we lose one badly or something, then maybe there's some tweaks that need to be made. And I did go back and forth in a bunch of units. Like, I had Eradicators in there and I removed them sort of at the 11th hour. What else did I have in there that got removed at the 11th hour? I had the Librarian Dreadnought in there. He got removed at the 11th hour as well. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty strong list, and I mean, I'm happy to share it with you guys. I've actually already shared it on the Discord, so if you guys want to join the Discord that we have, and you can see it in the army list room there. But it uses the 2 patrol detachments basically, so I can take 4 HQ. So we've got Chapter Master, we've got Chaplain on a bike, we've got Sanguinary Priest, and we've also got a Librarian. So I did have 2 Librarians in there and no Sanguinary Priest up until the 11th hour, but I changed my mind. I mean, I think the Sanguinary Priest can bring a lot of value, right? So that's what we ended up going for. Feeling crappy, got my first vaccine jab yesterday and the side effects are unpleasant. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, on the plus side, you got the jab, right? Like, I've heard a lot of people that have had some like 24-hour side effects with the jab and stuff, but at least the jab's coming now, right? So hopefully life can return to normal sooner rather than later, I guess. So sorry to hear you're feeling crabby, but happy to hear that people are getting the jab, so that's good, you know. I guess the jab is affecting some people worse than others, right? Some people are saying they don't feel anything. Some people are saying that you feel quite terrible after getting the jab. So hopefully it doesn't last long for you, Robert. Trying to find a good way to kit bash my Cayenne strike model. I do not know. I love kit bashing, but I mean, I haven't done too much of it recently. It was really hard to do a lot of kit bashing with Indomitus box because everything was, you know, like, none of it was multi-pose. I actually have the new Kill Team box arriving on Monday, but I think it's probably going to be the same. Like, I don't expect it to be multi-pose, so I'm not sure how much flexibility there will be with the heavy Intercessors as well. I guess we'll see on Monday. This brush is terrible. It's not accurate at all. Well, I don't know if I want to keep using it. Trying to 6 weeks. That's quick by my stand. Well, I mean, I guess it just depends on how far you want to push the models, right? Is how long that's going to take. I generally think that I paint about 2,000 points per year. That's how slow I am. So maybe, like, you know, 6 weeks for a 250, 300 point squad sounds about right. For like 2,000 points a year. So maybe this year, 2021, I'll get up to 10,000 points painted. I'm unsure, and I'm going to change this brush, I think, because it's not holding a point at all, and it's a nightmare. I was using it the other day to do some base coats, but maybe that wasn't a bigger model. That was on the Redemptor, wasn't it? So yeah, let me change this brush. Do you know what? We'll use this terrible brush to load up the palette with a ton of paint. Where did you post your list? It's in the army list section of Discord. I mean, I can post it again. Hold on. It's 2 detachments, so how do you share this again? Share. Chat. I'll just call it patrol list. Do you know what? I can throw it on my screen as well for a minute if you guys want to see it there too. Hello Blood Angels Commander, you should check out Ospec's Tactic Guide. He has a custom BA Successor chapter and he does some helpful videos on almost all Marine armies. However, he doesn't do as much math hammer as you. Yeah, I mean, I watch Ospec Tactics a lot for like armies that I don't do, right? Like, he's generally, you know, like he generally covers everything, right? So like Ospec's Tactics is a great channel. If you don't know about it, you should probably know about it and you should probably be subscribed to it, because if you want to see stuff for armies that you don't have, it's probably the place to be, right? He's always doing, like, the guy churns out like 3 videos a day sometimes. It's disgusting how much content he puts out. So totally worth subscribing to Ospec's Tactics if you do not already, I guess. It's definitely time for me to finish my Relic Contemptor so I can get onto something else. What are you working on at the moment? Says Adam. I mean, these are Vanguard veterans that I'm converting, or painting gold, I guess. I guess I'm not converting them, I'm just painting them gold because I think I was just sick of painting red when I first started painting my Vanguard veterans, so we decided to go gold rather than like paint another squad completely red. How do I join the Discord? There should be a link in the video description. If, like, there definitely should be. If there, let me double check. Yeah, there is a link. So under the description, under this video, you should be able to see a link to just join the Discord. Just click the link and it'll ask you if you want to join. It's as simple as that. If you don't have Discord, you might need to just install it, but I mean, it doesn't take minutes. I started a new Space Marine army almost 4 months ago and haven't even got a colour scheme picked out. Got 2,000 points base coated and I am stumped. That's how indecisive that I am. See, I just start painting, man, and just go with the flow. Go with what feels good, or go with what feels cool. And that's one of the reasons that I actually really love the Blood Angels. It's like you can just, like, I paint some models Death Company, even if they're not in the Death Company. Like, I just paint them Death Company colors. Obviously, these guys I just paint gold because, again, why not? And you know, then you can always fall back on the red. So it's one of the reasons that I really. Well, it's a cool thing for Blood Angels, I guess, in that you can just do what you want with the paint scheme. You don't have to stick too hard to it, I guess, or at least I feel like you don't. Auspex is the wiki of 40k. Yeah, he really is. Auspex does everything. He's the guy, you know. I reckon that Ospec Tactics, he's going to be at 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. He's like crushing it. Quite often I'll put out a video and like he'll just put out another video the same as mine, like he'll have put it out like an hour earlier or something, and his videos get 10 times the views mine get. So yeah. Painting more Vanguard vets right now is just, after just finishing a squad of 11 of them, I was like, yes, nice. And then it's like, oh, here's 9 more with Lightning Claws. I'm like, ugh, okay. Okay. Good evening, Mark. How you doing? Greetings, Highland. Good evening. How you doing, man? Did you see that I've got the lists posted for the Custodes and Death Guard battles that are happening on Monday? So they're all posted over in the army list room over on Discord. The Death Guard list is very interesting in that it's quite slow. Like, there's no Mortarion. I was convinced he was going to bring Typhus. There's no Typhus. But there are a lot. Like, I want to say there's 15 Terminators on the list. 5 Death Shroud. 10 Blight Lords. So playing around them will be an interesting. Will make the game interesting, I guess. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it's just an army list, man. It should be. You should just see it in the latest post in army lists. I just posted up called Patrol List. I mean, if you scroll to the bottom, you should see it. Evening, gents. Anyone getting the Imperium magazine subscription? I think it's great value, Joseph. The magazine subscription. The last one was really good value as well. Hey, Willis. Thanks for subscribing. Appreciate that. The last one was really good value as well. The interesting thing about the magazine, though, right, is like you'll end up with like 4 armies. So if you have time to paint 4 armies, I mean, go for it. And I mean, I guess if you have a friend that's interested in the magazine and you can do some trades, you know, it is good value. I think somebody worked it out that you save about $500 if you do the magazines. And I guess the interesting thing with the magazines is you can do back orders, right? Because like people were doing back orders on the last magazine to get some models way cheaper, right? For example, like attack bikes were in that last magazine for like $7.99 an issue. Well, an attack bike costs like 20 quid, right? So I know some people would like back order like 2 or 3 copies to get attack bikes at $7.99. So the magazine is definitely an interesting thing if you keep your eye on it, and keep your eye on the back orders as well. There's some unique characters, I think, in there as well. I'm not going to get it because I have a huge backlog of stuff to do, but I guess if you're newer or you're wanting to just get a ton of stuff to add, then I think the magazine is great value. Oh yeah, I remember I painted the Quillas on these guys' chest pieces red as well. I don't think I've ever seen blood blue blood angels beside the librarians. Yeah, I mean I'm painting a librarian blue, but I don't think anyone ever does blue blood angels. I don't think there's any successor chapters that use blue. Not in Discord either. Maybe I should be. Yeah, you should be on the Discord, man. I'm surprised you're not on the Discord. On Friday night, I guess, like, we just hang out in the gaming room on Discord, and like some of us, like last night, we just hung out and we just chatted about army lists for like 2 hours. So I guess if you ever want to talk to me, like actually over voice chat and in person, then Friday night is the place to do it. I try and always just get on Friday night, and I don't really have an agenda on Friday night. I usually just play like, well, I've just been playing an older Diablo game while I wait for that new Diablo game to be released or the remastered. So if you want to ever just come and chat, then Friday night is the place to chat with me, and I'll just be in one of the rooms on Discord just chatting to people. I've got all the time in the world, you lucky man. Then you should get the magazine, I guess, and you can have 4 great armies at a really good price. I, in fact, do not have all the time in the world, so I can't even. Like, this lockdown has done one thing for me that is good. It means that when I play this battle, everything in the army list will have 3 colours on it. Probably more than 3 colours. Like, quite a few things will have like 4 or 5 colours on them, and then a good amount of stuff is fully painted. So like half of the army is fully painted, and the other half is like getting there. So I managed to use the lockdown to change my army list pretty much completely, because it's like I used to run that super heavy tank list, and the super heavy tank is gone, and that's 600 points. So I had like, and I think I changed all my HQ, right, because like I started running all these biker captains as opposed to like, because I have like Dante and Astaroth and all these guys painted. I just don't run any of them in 9th edition. Like I don't think toughness 4 characters with no feel no pain are very survivable in 9th edition. That's just the bottom line for me. Our named characters die like so quickly to the sort of like current meta that includes a crap ton of meltaguns and stuff. And I know you can screen Dante and stuff like that, but like, yeah, some of the games I've been in my meta are ridiculous, right? Like that game where we had 18 Eradicators. 18 Eradicators and a bunch of Eradicators had multi-meltas, right? Like that game was just ridiculous. Like when you have 18 Eradicators, like it doesn't even matter if you try and screen your characters, they're still going to kill your characters, and getting your characters wounded on 2s is just pure nasty. Did you manage to watch Tabletop Tactics Battle Report today? Lawrence's Flesh Tears v Chaos Demons. Brutal but tactics. He had 15 Plasma Inceptors. Wow. I did not watch that. 15 Plasma Inceptors, man. That must be like... 5 Plasma Inceptors is 275 points. So you're basically talking, what, like 825 points of Plasma Inceptors? That's nuts. I mean, I guess it's strong, right? I'm sure it was strong, that many plasmas, but... yeah, I don't know if I would... thanks, Emperor, thanks for following. I don't know if I would ever run a list with, like, so many of the same character. Like, I generally try and keep my lists, like, quite diverse. I think diversity is strong. But I mean, who knows? I mean, like, just thinking about the damage that 18 Plasma Inceptors could do, or 15, sorry, when they arrive is pretty daunting. It was the same, it's kind of the same as that list with all those Eradicators, right? Like, when 18 Eradicators are going to shoot, it's pretty daunting. I guess there's no other way of saying it except, like, you know you're going to be losing units, like, a lot of units. So what was the final score in the game? Tell me. I avoid social medias other than YouTube, but I do what I must. I mean, that's fair enough. The only thing I do in social media is actually pretty much read about Blood Angels in the various groups I'm in. The Blood Angels Commander group and like one other 40k group. It's pretty much all I use social media for. I mean, occasionally I'll post an odd picture, but yeah, it's pretty uncommon for me to post anything on social media except about the Blood Angels. So I guess use social media for whatever it is you want to use it for, I guess is the answer to that. Did I paint the Aquila on this guy? No. Okay. Really liking the idea of getting a £125 sister box for next to nothing. How are you getting it for next to nothing? This month I was going to buy Terminators and Predator tanks, but now Belcar has been announced. Don't buy a Predator, Robert. I don't think Predator tanks are very competitive at all right now. I'm not sure what you're seeing that makes you think they're competitive, but I think I own 4 Predators, and I don't think I've fielded a single one in 9th edition. And like I have literally no desire to. They're just not in a good position in my opinion. They don't do that much damage. They don't have the core keyword. They don't have an invulnerable save. They don't have a lot of wounds. Like there's just too many negatives to them for their point cost. Considering you have to compare them to Redemptor, that's basically the same point cost. Maybe like 5 points more for the Redemptor, and the Redemptor gets pretty much the same firepower, maybe even a little bit more in cases. It also has the crazy damage melee claw. It also has more wounds. I think it has the same toughness, but it also has duty eternal, which means basically against any weapon that's more than 1 damage, it's way more survivable. So, yeah, I kind of advise you to stay away from a Predator. Any idea or hope what the next preview is going to have next week? I think we're not going to see any Blood Angel stuff for a while. I think they're so behind on releasing the new codexes and stuff like that. So, I mean, because I'm basically a mono army player, like I only play Blood Angels, I only collect one army. I mean, at some point, maybe I'd like to do more, but I don't know if you saw the video I posted up of my pile of shame, right? So, like, I had about, I think when I posted it up, I think I had about £2,000 worth of Blood Angels models that need painted, which is kind of ridiculous. Especially, I want to say it was like 7,000 or 8,000 points that I need to paint, and like I said, I paint like 2,000 points a year, and I add to that all the time, right? Like, I just bought the heavy intercessors, so or the kill. I went halves with someone on that kill team box to get the heavy intercessors. So, you know, as much as I paint, there's always new stuff. So, I think it would take me 5 years or more to get my Blood Angels all finished. At that point, I will consider doing something else. But until they're all finished, and I'm not. I mean, I guess that's the other reason I'm staying away from that magazine. It's just like I just don't have time. I guess I'm just slow at painting. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Evening, Tony. How you doing? I love the look of that model. I'm tempted, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, the Be'lakor model is very nice. That's something that we can't complain with, right? They're always releasing really nice looking new stuff. So, I mean, maybe that's part of the problem. You know, like the heavy intercessors, I think they actually kind of look cool, and I know they're kind of different than most people would run in Blood Angels, but like, I don't know, I just want all the toys, I guess. So I'm probably going to do an unboxing video on that kill team box, to be honest. So it was supposed. Do you know what? I waited in all morning today. You know how you're allowed to go out for like a single walk for exercise, basically, with the lockdown. So I waited in like the whole morning because I thought the kill team box was going to come. I actually ended up going out maybe like 11:15 or something, because I normally get up at like. My alarm's set every day for 7, so I always get up at like 7. So I waited into like 11:15. So I went out for a walk then, and apparently they tried to deliver the box at like noon or something. I was like, oh my god, how annoying. I stayed in the whole morning hoping for the delivery, and then finally went out and the delivery came. So hopefully I'll pick it up on Monday. Evening, Mick, how you doing? I just bought 10 Incursors Infiltrators off eBay, and they didn't add in instructions to build them. Mark, you can find those instructions on just on like well, you just Google search the instructions. I actually bought Infiltrators on eBay as well. I got like a crazy good price on them. It was like 5, and actually it was Incursors I bought, but the instructions I believe are shared between the two. So yeah, I got 5 Incursors for like $12.99 or something, which is like super cheap. You know, that's like $2 a model or something. And I didn't get instructions, but I did manage to find them quick enough. Like sometimes you can get lucky. And I guess Incursors, I mean, you should be able to find them because I did manage to find them as well. I do really like the captain with the storm shield, sort of like the adamantium mantle, the angel's artifice. He's just a really tanky character. And if you give him the Thunderhammer, you're able to basically like give himself rerolls near the end of the game, maybe when other units don't need the rerolls as much. I like it a lot. A Smash Captain needs Teeth of Terror or Hammer of Baal. You know, I'm just running mine with a regular Thunderhammer. But I'm using my relics on other characters at the moment on this list. I Are you the guy that avoids plasmas at all costs because of the explosive chance, or he likes the risk? Yeah, no, I don't like the risk at all. I genuinely... I genuinely try and take strategies that remove the dice rolls, if possible, right? For example, I guess when I was looking at it this week, it's funny because neither of the two characters that we're going to talk about ended up in my army list. But, I was talking about, a Death Company captain on a bike versus a Librarian Dreadnought. And, they both basically do about the same damage if the Death Company captain has the Hammer of Baal. However, the Hammer of Baal doesn't need any, you don't need to do any psychic tests or anything like that to make him work. He just works because, he's just a Death Company captain with a 2+ to hit and probably a 2+ to wound if you give him Imperium Sword. Whereas, the Librarian needs to have his powers go off. So I like the Librarian, and I mean, you can make him a bit more reliable with command rerolls and stuff, but sometimes I generally err on more percentage based plays, and maybe the plasmas is just a really harsh example, right? Where your units just die. Maybe if your units took 1 mortal wound, I could run the plasmas, but the fact that your units just die on those ones, yeah, I don't like it. I find it. Yeah, I don't know how to say it except that I don't like it. And my experience with it is just not always that great, right? I mean, last time I actually deep strike 3 plasmas, so they get 18 shots, right? They're assault 3 each, so they got 18 shots, and I actually rolled 6 ones. So I actually would have, if I'd fired them on high power, I would actually killed the squad twice over. I mean, thankfully I chose low power, but I mean, by shooting them in low power, they didn't really do as much damage as I needed them to do in the situation. So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of plasmas for that reason. But I mean, if you like plasmas, and there's definitely, I mean, the Inceptors math hammer surprisingly well. They are a very strong unit. They can kick out a ridiculous amount of damage. There's multiple ways you can get reroll 1s on them, obviously. So if you like the Inceptors, I do think it's a strong pick. It's just maybe not the pick that I would make personally, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I do a lot of things different from other Blood Angels players, and I think part of it might be because I just play the one army, right? So someone said this to me last night when we were chatting in the room, that they were said it's because I only play one army, then I want all the toys on my one army. So I may end up taking units that can do a little bit of shooting more often than maybe other Blood Angels players, because the only way I can field them, right, is as Blood Angels, because I only do the one army. So my picks are maybe slightly different, but I mean, I can appreciate that there's a lot of strength in the Inceptors, and I guess used right, they can do an absolute rock ton of damage, and they're very mobile. The Descent of the Angels makes them very, very strong, and they can just arrive exactly where you need them. And they can charge people as well. Inceptors do have a decent amount of attacks, and they are in Gravis armor, so they can follow up their initial strike with some charge action if it's later in the game and you just need to finish something off. So yeah, I think Inceptors are a great choice. I just kind of stick away from them. I have 6 of them actually, 3 plasmas and 3 bolters. Do you know what? If I was going to run them, I'd probably actually maybe just run the bolters, just because my luck with rerolling 1 sucks. Hey all, quick question. Working on building Inceptors, which weapon? Oh, literally just what we're talking about. Well, the maths tells me that the 2 damage plasma Inceptors are amazing. I did, in one of my videos recently, I did include them in the math hammer section. I can't remember exactly which video it was. Knucklehead 86, but the plasma Inceptors do a load of damage. But I guess the question is, you need the reroll 1s if you want them in high power, or you need to be very, very confident or very risky. But I mean, the Hurricanes aren't bad. I think they're called Hurricane Bolters. No, I can't remember what the bolters are called, but the bolters are not bad at all. You'll get a decent amount of shots out with them. They are strength 5, so you're still gonna wreck infantry, and there's less risk to them. So, I mean, it's really up to you. Top players are picking the plasmas though. So there's definitely, tournament winning lists, I think, have taken those plasma inceptors as well. So not too many people in the competitive scene are taking the Hurricane bolters. But I mean, yeah, I guess you have to decide on if you're going to reliably drop them down somewhere where you can reroll ones and you can fire them on high power, then I think you're all good. But if you can't find that, then I guess you just have to have a think about it. Good evening, Karandras Dota. I used to play Dota a long time ago. I think you're searching for the optimum though, a noble quest. Yeah, I mean, I'm always searching for the optimum. Apparently my kill team box was delivered last Monday at 11:20 at night and it didn't happen. Didn't deliver anything, and the courier said they delivered it. Wow, Mick, that sounds a bit like a nightmare. I'm not sure exactly what you do about that. Does Recantation of Focus work on plasmas, or does the unmodified part make them blow up regardless? Yeah, I mean, a plasma will always blow up on a 1, right? Even if you have like multiple ways to get pluses to hit. But the other thing you have to remember about hit and wound rolls, Robert, is they can never be modified by more than plus or minus 1. And what that means is, if you have, let's say you are a Space Marine with your weapon skill 3 and you have 2 things that are giving you +1 to hit, you still only get a 2+ to hit, right? Like, you can never modify the base value by more or plus than -1. So if you had something that was giving you -1 to hit and you had 2 +1s to hit, then they would sort of like, you do all the calculations, so you take your +2 to hit, then you minus the 1, and then you'd still end up with +1. But you can never. So this is an interesting thing for Thunder. It can work with Thunder Hammers, or it can work with like the Sanguinary Guards Power Fists, for example, right? So Sanguinary Guard Power Fists are normally -1 to hit. So normally they're 3+ to hit. So there'd be a 4+ to hit, right? If you're Sanguinary Guard within 6 of your Warlord, you get +1 to hit. So then that's back to the 3+. And then if you give them like the banner buff from the Sanguinary Ancient, they get another +1, right? So then you're back to basically you've got Thunder Hammers hitting, or Power Fists, hitting on 2s. So you can do that. So you can modify the roll, but you can never change like a BS3 into like a 1+ hit. And mind you, rolls of 1 and rolls of 6 always either like wound or always fail. So that's just how they've changed it in 9th edition. Saving throws don't work like that though, right? Saving throws take all the modifiers and just work like. So if you had 3 minuses to your saving throw for some reason, that would still count. But for hit and wound rolls, it can only ever be +1 or -1, the end result, right? Because you used to get like Eldar and Harlequins that could end up being like -3 to hit and stuff like that, and it just kind of got a bit stupid. So I guess it's kind of a buff for some things, and it's kind of like a little bit of a nerf for other things. But I think overall it's a better mechanic, right? And you can do some interesting things, like I just said. So you can basically get your Power Fist from your Sanguinary Guard to hit on 2s if you bring the right models to the table. And even if your enemies have something that is like -1 to hit, you'll still hit on 3s or something. Yeah, no, you're very welcome. You should play against the new Imperial Fist. What should you play against a new Imperial Fist player? I mean, it's kind of subjective. I mean, like, do you want to trounce the new player, or do you want to just give him a match where... But the thing is, if he's a new player, he's probably not going to know tactics anyway, so, like, would you not just... If you're playing against someone new, maybe that's the time you try out some things that you don't normally run in your list, right? Like, add some units that have been sat on the shelf for too long and give them a run out, because a new player's not going to really know tactics, or he's not going to be consolidating correctly. You know, he's just... They're going to be all over the place, so... Probably don't run your A-list, I guess, and yeah, I would use it as an opportunity to try out things that you want to try out, or try some synergies you don't normally try. Like, I guess no one's really trying that Death Company character, right? When I did the Math Hammer this week on him, he seems pretty cool. Seems like he's something that I would run for sure, so yeah, I'd probably try and maybe use the time against a new player to try some things that I've not run before, or not run in 9th edition, right? Are heavy intercessors competitive for Blood Angel's army? Aren't regular intercessors better? Regular intercessors, for me, I don't like them. If you need to hold objectives with them, I don't like them. I don't run them at all. And I have like 20 or 30 regular intercessors painted. There's a lot of ways you can kill regular intercessors pretty easily. If you have a squad of like 5 Vanguard veterans with lightning claws, they will wreck a intercessor squad. I think they'll kill them from full health to dead in a single turn. So if you're using regular intercessors to hold a backfield objective, you know, I guess you should be prepared for... Like, one of the tactics that I use in a lot of games is a small 5-man squad of Death Company or Vanguard veterans with the intent of harassing the opponent's backfield objective. I don't do it in every game, but I've done it in enough games and it's won me enough games that it's something that I think about. And I mean, I always have like a 5-man or a Death Company or a 5-man Vanguard vet in every army list, right? So it's always a possibility. So if I see a player with just 5 intercessors in the backfield trying to hold an objective, I just think like, well, that's an easy way to get like a 10 victory point swing, right? Like, all I got to do is kill 5 intercessors. They're going to get... I mean, let me just do the math in my head real quick, right? So you have 5... I'm literally painting Vanguard veterans with lightning claws right now, right? So we have 5 of these guys with lightning claws, and we drop them in from deep strike. And we make the charge, right? So basically, all the guys are going to have 3 attacks. The sergeant's going to have 4. So you're going to get 12, 16 attacks. And then you're going to get +1 attacks for everybody wielding a lightning claw. So you've got 21 attacks. 21 attacks, you're going to hit on 3s. As a Blood Angel, you could easily pay 1 CP when they arrive to make them hit on 2s. But for argument's sake, let's just say they're hitting on 3s, right? But they could be hitting on 2s for 1 CP. So 21 attacks, hitting on 3s, that gives you 14 hits. We're going to wound intercessors on a 3 because of the red thirst roll. So out of our like 14 hits, we're going to wound 66% of the time, so we're going to get like 9 wounds. But then we're going to get to re-roll all our wounds because we've got lightning claws. So of the 5 that didn't wound, I guess like 33% is going through again. So basically we're going to do 12 wounds up against your intercessor squad. And it's going to be lightning claws, so it's -2. So you're saving on 5s, and you have 12 to save. So you're going to save 33%. So you're going to save 3. So you're going to take 9 wounds from 5 Vanguard vets with lightning claws, and that's before Savage Echoes. So if this happens on turn 3, you just lost the whole squad. If it happens on turn 2, you have 1 guy left with 1 wound. And I mean, that's what the averages says, but obviously, you know, it's dice, so right, that could swing. So basically, there is a pretty decent chance that the whole squad could get wiped. I suppose there is a decent chance that that one model survives with 2 wounds, but I mean, still, what happens then? You know, like, you've got 1 intercessor on that backfield objective. You're gonna have to take a leadership test with -4 because you lost 4 guys. And even if you do survive, then the Vanguard Veterans are pretty much guaranteed to kill you in the following turn. You attacking the Vanguard Veterans back is going to be negligible. So this is why I don't like... This is a key reason why I don't like Intercessors as a backfield objective holder, right? Like, they just don't work for me. And I play plenty of armies that have Deep Strike, and they... You know, Sisters of Battle easily will wipe you off the backfield objective like that. There's Necron abilities that can do it as well. Basically, any other Space Marine with assault troops can do it. So there's just to me, it's too easy to kill Intercessors. So I use the Phobos troops. And if you don't use the Phobos troops, you should probably... I've done a video on are the Infiltrators and Incursors the best troop choices in 9th edition. So you can watch that video if you want. But heavy Intercessors... Yeah, and that's a good point. My Vanguard Veterans actually have Storm Shields and Lightning Claws. So if they're all double Lightning Claw Vanguard Veterans, then 100% you've lost your whole Intercessor squad. And you know, that could basically be a 5-point victory swing where basically you lose 5 victory points because you're down 1 objective. I gain 5 victory points because I've got 1 extra objective. So you're talking like a 10-point primary swing. And you know, like, have you ever lost a game by less than 10 points? Because if you have, then that one move that I just made has, you know, essentially lost you the game. So I don't rate Intercessors at all for backfield holding. And like I said, I use the Phobos units, but would I consider using the heavy Intercessors? I think so. I mean, they're quite a bit more survivable, like the toughness 5 and the extra 5 wounds, right? And they also have some stratagems that are quite nice as well, such as the one that gives Gravis against 1 damage, a +1 to the save. I mean, sure, I suppose you could use your Transhuman on your Intercessors, but do you really want to be transhuming Intercessors? Like, you want to be transhuming stuff that's like crazy difficult to kill, like your Blade Guard Veterans or something. You know, like, you don't want to be wasting transhumans on a crappy squad in the backfield that are just there to hold objectives for you. So I bought the heavy Intercessors, I guess, is my answer to that long-winded question. Good evening, Gitley, how you doing? Hey, Bloody Digital Commander, thoughts on a squad of 5 Vanguard Veterans, 2 with Storm Shields and Lightning Claws, 2 with dual Lightning Claws, and a Sergeant with a Relic Blade and Infernal Pistol. I mean, that's almost what I'm running, you know? Like, I just have all 4 with the Storm Shields, Will. I think when I did the math, if you swap out 2 Storm Shields for like Lightning Claws, I mean, if you think about it, right, they normally have like 21 attacks. We just worked that out, and it can be 26 if we get to Savage Echoes. So you're adding like potentially 2 more attacks, which really works out as like quite a small amount of damage bonus. So you're getting like about a 10% damage bonus by switching out those guys. And I mean, like, you're probably losing a lot more survivability than 10%, right? Because you're obviously losing +1 to save, and then you're losing essentially the 4+ invulnerable save. So if you're okay, like if you just want them to be more of a like slightly more damage, then that's fine. And I mean, I think a lot of people do like that. For me, I like my units to survive. And I mean, I think 9th edition is definitely a game of, you know, it's in a game of secondaries, it's a game of objectives. You know, if you have 1 unit left, you can perform an action that can win you the game, or you can move on to an objective and contest it that can win you the game. So where I am right now, I've just done all mine with shields. Maybe it was the wrong choice, right? I'm not saying I'm infallible, but that's what I'm doing. But I mean, I think there's definitely valid. Is that a word? Validity? Or I definitely think it's valid to run squads with mixed weapons. I know some people don't like mixed weapons, but I definitely think it's valid. I definitely like the Infernal Pistol and the Sergeant. The one that I have here, literally, that's magnetized with an Infernal Pistol, right? So like, we can have an Infernal Pistol, or we can have a Storm Shield on this Sergeant. So yeah, I think there's validity in the Infernal Pistol, and I think there's probably a bit of validity in your idea of like the 2 lightning claws. Yeah, I was thinking of running like almost 2 squads like that, but I kind of ended up going for Blade Guards. What do I use to defend backfield objectives? Infiltrators at the moment, James. Infiltrators, obviously, you can't deep strike within 12 inches of them. I think this makes them super strong. Like, really strong for holding backfield objectives. And the other thing with infiltrators as well is they get the smokescreen keyword. So if you need them to survive, you can pop smoke against ranged fire. It can help a lot, you know? And yeah, I mean, I do think I will try at least once to try and run heavy intercessors in the backfield and give them like some of those really long range rifles and just have them maybe sit on like elevated terrain and just do pop shots the entire game, like 20 points more than the infiltrators. And I think that the heavy intercessors can survive pretty well if people do want to deep strike and come in against them. And I guess if people want to deep strike and come in against the heavy intercessors, Ospec scan could be your friend as well, because you know, the rifles are not bad at all. Like strength 5, -2 damage a pop. Like they could do a decent amount of work in Ospec scan. And Ospec scan actually changed in 9th edition. I don't know if you guys are all aware, but Ospec scan used to be -1 to hit, right? They removed that, so Ospec scan is just your ballistic skill. So if the enemy want to come in within 12 inches of your heavy intercessors, then you can at least probably pop them with like 4 or 5 hits from strength 5 -2 damage rifles, which I think is reasonably scary actually. You know, because it's probably hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, so you're gonna make them take some saves for sure, which is nice. So I think heavy intercessors might have a place, but I guess we'll just have to see. Like as I say, mine don't arrive till Monday, so. Yeah, someone else asked that question, Will, about like what does adding more lightning claws do to the squad? And like, yeah, I was just thinking in my head, like, what does that actually do? And like, it does give a damage bonus, but it's not as much as you would think, right? Like, I thought it would be more, but yeah, to me, I kind of feel like I'd rather just have them alive. And I guess remember, if one guy's alive and you're running a Sanguinary Priest, you can like pop over there and add another guy to the squad or something. Might not be the most sensible thing to add just like one guy to a small squad. Might make more sense to add, you know, revives to a bigger squad. But I mean, if there's nothing else to revive, or if there's nothing else in range to revive, you know, having that one final guy alive because you did give them all storm shields or you did make them all more survivable is interesting as well. I tend to run my Vanguard veterans very aggressively. Like, I run them more aggressively than Death Company and Sanguinary Guard, right? Because they have that 4+ invulnerable save. How many times am I going to drop this model tonight? Jeez, sorry guys. Greetings from Detroit, just working on some Sigmar models. Hey Dapper, greetings from greetings to Detroit. We have people from all over the world tuning in pretty much every week, so it's pretty rad. I wasn't sure how many people would actually care about Blood Angels, but it seems like there's quite a lot of you now. I was kind of blown away. I think it might have been earlier today. We hit 4,600 subscribers, and I'm like, it's kind of getting to crazy numbers, right? I'm like, holy crap! Like 4,600 people, like that is a lot of people. Had this weird thing one night, like when I was making my YouTube videos, actually one night where it was like I'd got to 600 subscribers, and like it just felt like this weird level of pressure. And I was like, oh my god, I've got 600 subscribers. Like, I need to make a really good video this week. Like 600, that's insane. How can there be 600 subscribers? But like, it just keeps going, I guess. So like 4,600, that's getting pretty insane, I think. So really appreciate the support. Probably going to pull my Vanguard vets out tonight and tomorrow to finish them at 5. Storm Shields and Lightning Crawl group. Nice, Brendan. Yeah, I'm so annoyed that I just finished painting 11 Vanguard veterans, and I painted them. I did 3 chain swords, 3 thunder hammers, 3 power fists, and then 2 relic blades, 1 relic blade with a shield and 1 relic blade with an infernal pistol. Like, that's what I did. And then, and I mean, I've got one right here, right? I got a chainsword one right here, actually. And I'm like really pleased how they turned out. Like, I think they kind of look dope in the gold. I really like the shield. I like the contrast of the colors. I like everything about them except their damn weapon options. And yeah, the joys. I should have magnetized them. I think in the future I just need to magnetize all my infantry arms, because it just keeps coming back to haunt me when I don't do it, you know? It's the same as like when you buy a dreadnought, right, and you don't magnetize it, and you're thinking to yourself like, oh, it'll be fine, and then like literally like 6 months later you're like, man, I wish I'd magnetized those dreadnought arms. Like, why did I not bother? So I guess where I am now is just like, I should magnetize everything, because it seems like it always comes back to haunt me. Always, 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 always. I just started my army a couple of months ago after taking a break for 40k from 6 years. All your tips and information has been super getting back into it. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Hot Beef. That's very kind of you. Glad to see you back, man. We seem to get new people back like all the time. So, yeah. But yeah, in this desperate rush to get like 3 colours on every unit for Monday, it feels like I have painted so much red over the last few weeks. Like, just red, 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 it feels like. But right before I made that video on the Sanguinary Guard, actually, I'd done a video on... I'd actually made some Sanguinary Guard myself, and I'd actually made a bunch with swords and axes. So that was like, I lucked out there, because like after I did the video, it was like, oh, it's pretty useful to have like 4 swords and 4 axes on a squad of 8. Like, that seems like a really strong coverage. Swords maybe edge axes slightly, but then against Death Guard, axes actually edge slightly. So I was like, I play Death Guard a lot in my meta, so 4 swords and 4 axes works really well for me. And do you know what? It's annoying. I actually have a bunch of Death Company with plasmas and infernal pistols and power fists, and like I just don't think there's, you know, like I'm trying to keep the squad of the, I'm trying to keep the cost of the Sanguinary Guard down. So you run the axes and the swords to keep the squad sort of like at a reasonable cost. So I have all these guys with plasmas and power fists and stuff, and it's just like, again, I just don't run them. So in hindsight, they should have all been magnetized. They're just going to sit in the drawer for a long time and never get played with, when if they'd been magnetized, they could have been played with all the time, you know? When I eventually get round to my Vanguard veterans, I'm going to build them as double lightning claws and magnetize 1 fist, so I can just pop a shield onto it and count it as 1 lightning claw storm shield. That's actually that's a pretty interesting option, Adam. You should share that with everybody in Discord. Just put build them all as double lightning claw and just stick a magnet on the back of one, so you can just magnetize. You can just stick a storm shield to it. That's the best idea I've heard all day. That would save people a lot of headache, and I guess it would probably future-proof them for the next edition of the game as well. How do you magnetize arms? I mean, you need to get magnets online from like eBay. And what you want to search for is like 1mm times 1mm magnets. Hopefully, like, can you see the little circle in the middle there? That's like a tiny little 1x1 magnet that's drilled into the hole, and then on the arm there, you can see the same circle, right? A tiny little 1mm magnet, and then you literally just put it together. So you just need like a drill. You can get a drill off Amazon, like a little hand drill for like £6 or £7. I want to say that for like £3 or £4 you could get 20 of those 1x1 magnets, so you could do like 20 arms for basically a tenner, and then obviously once you've bought the drill once, you never need to buy the drill again. You just basically find the drill size that like it's like a little hand drill. Let me see, I think my drill is over here somewhere. Yeah. So this is what it looks like. This is actually a slightly bigger hole, maybe, or maybe it's not. Maybe this is actually the 1mm one. Yeah. Yeah, so you just find a drill end that matches the size of the magnet, right? And you just drill into the arm with your hand. Just search for like hand drill or something on Amazon. You'll find one of these for £6. You could buy an official one from the Games Workshop site, and it's like 20 something. But like honestly, that one I got off Amazon for £6 is absolutely fine. And it comes with a load of different size heads. So if you want to do like if you want to magnetize like bigger arms, like dreadnought weapons and stuff like that, you can do that as well. I actually have a video up on this channel about magnetizing, like I think it's the Leviathan dreadnought. So like if you search Blood Angels Commander magnetize dreadnought, you'll find one of the videos, and I'm basically magnetizing like a claw arm with the dreadnought, but like you know, this is the exact same principle. You just use smaller magnets for the smaller models, right? There's no like real fancy thing you need to know or need to do. You just use the right magnets, or you just use a magnet of the right size for the model that you're trying to do. I magnetize vehicles where I can, but never magnetize infantry. I always lose arms if I do that. Do you know what? I have never really lost too many arms, but it depends on where you're storing your models, right? Like I store them all in like boxes and trays and stuff, and they're generally, I have trays of like trays where I store like finished squads together, so I don't really have too many problems. But yeah, I magnetize all the dreadnought arms now, because the thing with the dreadnought arms is it seems like every edition they add like this edition, like the Leviathan dreadnought got the new Volkite cannons, which are arguably stronger than the heavy flamers. The Contemptor dreadnought got new Volkite cannons that are arguably better value than the las cannons. So, you know, if for example, like I have a Contemptor, if I'd stuck the las cannons onto it, then basically what you're going to do, you're going to pay another $100 for another new Contemptor, because your current one's overcosted now. Like it's just madness. So if you've never magnetized before, take the plunge. Like it's super easy. And as I say, there is a video on my channel. It's not even a long video. And if you're gonna do something that you're not really comfortable with, then like join into the Discord and post up a picture or ask a question. You know, like if I'm not there, there's loads of other people that'd be happy to help, I'm sure. But yeah, I think it's definitely, if you've never magnetized, it'll save you money in the long run. It'll make your army lists more flexible, especially like when you're trying to get those last few points for your army list, right? Like, you know, you're trying to get a 2,000 point army and you've got 5 points left, and you're like, oh, if I could just give this one guy this weapon, then it would be 2,000 points exactly, and I wouldn't be wasting any of my points. So yeah, I totally recommend magnetizing if you can, I guess. You can get like 300 1mm by 1mm magnets from Amazon for like $10. Yeah, I got them on eBay, and they were generally very, very cheap. Julian, you don't really need to show off if a weapon is mastercrafted on the model. You just need to tell your opponent on your battle list what the mastercrafted weapon is. I mean, if you want to try and do something and make it look cooler, that's totally fine as well, but like, you don't need to. Like, a lot of people run the Hammer of Baal, for example, or the Relic Chainsword, and it can just be a model with a chainsword, right? It doesn't need to look different. If it does, great. You know, like you said, like if you have a different mark of Power Fist and it stands out, or whatever, then that's great. But you don't have to do that, I believe. But yeah, pin vice drill is what you want to search for, I think, as well, and you'll see something like I showed you there, and they're super easy to use, right? I don't think you can go wrong. And I mean, you get so many spare arms and stuff, right? I'm sure everybody's got spare arms, so you could just literally test them. And a trick that I use for the polarity of the magnets, because when you take the magnets apart and they're so small, it's hard to know which way the polarity goes. Yeah, I use Games Workshop paints. Get yourself like a Sharpie. Do I have one here? I thought I did. But I guess what I mean by Sharpie is just like a permanent marker pen, and just on both sides of the magnets, when the magnets are stuck together, draw like a little bit of black on both sides and let it dry, and then you'll know when you're sticking them into your models that you've got the polarity correct, because there's nothing worse than sticking them in and then you try and stick the arm on and the polarity is wrong and like the magnet just doesn't stick. It actually like repels, I guess, if it's the same polarity, right? And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, I just super glued this magnet into this model and the polarity is the wrong way around. I mean, even if you do that, you might still end up with the odd mistake, but I think it's definitely worth doing. Alright, 1 second. I'm going to grab another tub of paint. But yeah, I'm just using Games Workshop paints. This is just Mephiston Red that I'm doing on the over the Retributor Gold spray that I did on these guys. So nothing really fancy, I guess. I've used 2mm times 0.5 recently for the really small light and cursor infiltrator bits, so you can run either squad. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty... I remember you saying you were going to magnetize infiltrators, and that's pretty crazy. Like, they're so fiddly. I can't imagine magnetizing them, but good on you, Highland. I use Felder to store my stuff. They have foam trays built for Space Marine armies, not too expensive either. Yeah, the one I use is called KR Cases. They do foam trays built for Space Marines, so they're generally very good as well. If you check the Blood Angels Reddit, I put an update post of the revamp over the last year, and most of them, where applicable, have been magnetized. Yeah, I would mastercraft the Lightning Claw if I could, but I want to look like it. Well, I mean, maybe you just have to paint the Lightning Claw gold or something, right? Like, if it's the same cast, then maybe you just paint it a different color and it stands out. Maybe that's a better option. Oh, I always bang that stand when I move my chair. God damn it. This is honestly like the worst camera stand ever. I mean, it works, but it's terrible. I actually want one more color as well. Don't bang the chair again. Just added the Modeling Vanguard Veteran idea to Discord. Hope someone can find it useful. Yeah, I mean, I think it is generally a very useful option. Good evening, Dolph. How are you doing? If you ever want to know any of the colours, because you were asking about colours, Robert, just ask, because my colour schemes are generally very simple, right? Like, I don't do a whole lot of edge highlighting, I don't do a whole lot of shading, but I just use sort of bold colours. And I mean, because I don't do a whole lot of highlighting or shading, maybe I should be painting my models quicker. But yeah, I generally use a lot of bold colours, and I think I get good results. People usually tell me that they like how they're painted, but it's I guess it's subjective, you know. I would never enter a painting competition. I don't think my guys are anywhere near that level. Maybe a Terminator Lightning Claw rather than regular Lightning Claw. Lots of cutting to make it fit the arm, though, perhaps. Yeah, maybe a Terminator Lightning Claw would look a bit more beefy. I guess you'd have to source a Terminator Lightning Claw, but the arm would definitely look more beefy, that's for sure. I wonder if there's some sort of special character that has a lightning claw as well that you could pick up, you know, or you could go look and see if you get a second-hand one or something. Cut off lightning claw. I don't actually know really any. I can't think off the top of my head character that has a wields a lightning claw. That, well, a custom lightning claw, I guess, if you want it to be basically custom because you're artisan of warring it. I've ascended to fire support. No, I tried to change it, man. So fire support would be for 2 months, and then the yellow helmet would be from 3 to 6 months. So that, because people were saying they preferred the yellow helmet, and I was like, you're going to be stuck with a blue helmet for 3 months, right? So I tried to change it round. So month 2, you get the blue helmet, and then month 3 to 6, you get the yellow sort of like close support helmet. So I guess I tried to change it the other night and it didn't work, Highland, so I guess maybe it has worked now. Maybe it just takes a few days to update or something on YouTube. As I say, I'm definitely a beginner to YouTube, and I'm definitely a beginner to Discord. Commander Yarrick. Wow, yeah, that's a character name that I've not heard for a while, but yeah, he has a lightning claw, doesn't he? That might be an interesting option. I guess you wouldn't know quite how the... Yeah, I mean, you're going to probably need... If you're going to do that, you're going to need to get some sort of green stuff or something to make it fit, I imagine. Because it's going to be very difficult. I mean, I guess you'd probably have to use green stuff if you're doing the Terminator idea as well, to be honest. Or you're going to have to hack away a bunch of the model and then use the Terminator shoulder pad. I mean, the paint job might be one option that is like... It maybe doesn't sound good on paper, but you could definitely, you know, you could give it a lot more attention and detail in the paint job, I guess. Try and make it look mastercrafted from that. I don't mind the colour. They're all Blood Angels helmets. Yeah, that's very true. It's very kind of you guys. Thank you. I'm glad that the channel helps out. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of it, right? So it's nice to hear that it's useful and it helps out. He has an orc claw. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could do an orc claw. When I ascended to the Devastators, I let my sergeant know to keep the plasma cannon, and I'll take something else. Paint it green instead of blue. Yeah, so on Monday, guys, we are going live for... We'll probably be live for like 6 or 7 hours. We've got 2 games going, and it's going to be, well, they're both going to be 2,000 points, and obviously they're both going to use the same list. And my list is going to be that double patrol detachment that I've been working on for a while. So I believe it starts with 5 CP. So we got quite a lot of relics and heroes of the chapter, and do you know what? We have a Leviathan Dreadnought in there as well, just to keep things interesting. So I'm probably going to be live for, what did I say, 6 or 7 hours, 2 entire full games on Monday. I think we're going to be using tournament terrain placing. So there's like a world championship website where you can get tournament terrain placings. So we're probably going to use those for the terrain placings. So it's like a very serious / competitive environment, and I think it should be pretty interesting. The Death Guard, I haven't played them since they got their new codex. And I know they did get their new codex a while ago now, but I mean, because of the lockdown here, we didn't really have a choice. And then Custodes, well, they don't have their new codex yet, so they're still using the old rules where like their characters don't have core and stuff yet. So it'll be a difficult match against the Custodes for sure. The Custodes army is very strange though, right? Because it's going to be like 10 models or something ridiculously small. I think it's maybe 15 models and like 4 troops. 4 of the models are troops. So it's such a small list to have to deal with, but every unit will pack a significant punch and threat. So both games should be pretty interesting. And we're going to kick that off on Monday morning. So if anyone's around on Monday and wants to watch a game or catch the replay, you'll be able to do that on Monday on the channel. So, you know, we have our live show tomorrow. Maybe at the end of the live show we'll talk a little bit about the lists for Monday. So you can see, and I mean the lists, I did post the lists up in Discord as well, so if you want to see the Custodes list or the Death Guard list, you can do that as well. Both lists are, I want to say both lists are interesting. The Death Guard list is slower than I expected, but I mean, I guess, like I said, there's probably going to be some things that I'm not fully aware of. I have read the new Death Guard Codex. I am planning to do some more reading into all the stratagems and stuff, but I mean, it is, sometimes you kind of need to play against the new lists to fully understand them, right? So we may have a little bit of struggle against the Death Guard. I guess we'll see. When's the next time you're going to play a game? Your channel is keeping me off drugs. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Drugs are bad, in the infamous words of Dr. Garrison from South Park, right? But yeah, Monday, 2 games, probably one after the other. There might be a break, I'm not entirely sure the schedule yet, but Death Guard and Custodes, and it should be, it will be 2 hard-fought games, that's for sure. But I think it is possibly 2 winnable games. It's hard to say. I'd like to win both games, I really would. I beat the Death Guard player the last 2 times I played him, so I'd really like to make it a 3-0 strike. But, you know, a lot has changed since the last iteration of the Death Guard Codex. Obviously, last time the Disgusting Resilient was just that 5+ Feel No Pain. Now it's that flat -1 damage. I guess in some ways it's stronger and in some ways it's weaker, but like it's going to be really hard to feel out having never played against it. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna essentially neuter a bunch of my 2 damage units, right? Like the Sanguinary Guard, like the Blade Guard veterans, like they're just gonna be half as effective against everything in the army, which is gonna be a challenge. And then obviously they have this new sort of like toughness debuffing aura as well. So not really looking forward to having my units get, or a decent amount of them get debuffed to toughness 3. Like that sounds like it's gonna be problematic. For sure. What website is the tournament terrain placing? I can get it for you, Lagmeister. Give me 1 sec. I had it earlier. I just have it open my phone though, so where the hell is it? Alright, do you know what? My phone is here being the camera for the stream, so I don't know if I can pull it off. Well, I probably can't pull it off my phone right this second, but let me give me 1 second. Let me see. No, I don't think I can. I don't know why I can't pull it off. It's going to be in the history of my phone, so I'll send it to you after the stream, or I'll put it in the comments after the stream. But it's like a... It was like World Team Terrain selection, maybe. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I think I found it. 1 second. Yeah, we were thinking it'd be something. Let me just put it in the chat. You can use something like this. Hopefully, you just have to. I don't know if you can click that link straight in the chat, or you need to copy and paste it out. But that should help you. Hey, Join. I'm joining late, but well, that's fine, Ben. Nice to see you. Good, happy Saturday night. Hope you're well. I'm having a good evening. I've been super bummed out recently by the lockdown, so. Just being able to maybe have something to look forward to, i.e. playing a couple of games of 40k is gonna help my mental health no end, I tell you. Evening, Krychek. Nice to see you. One thing I always struggle on is terrain placement for a fair game. Yeah, I mean, there's some sections in the rulebook that tell you about how much terrain should be on the battlefield and stuff like that, right? But like, it can be difficult to follow. So this is almost like a website where they've just basically made maps, and you would just roll a dice and you'd say like, right, we're going to play map 1. So this is the terrain we're going to put on the map. So because we want to make these games like as high tier and as competitive as possible, we're going to use the terrain layout from that website. And yeah, I don't know if you saw any of my live games from a few months back, but since then we've bought like a new microphone, so hopefully the sound quality is better. We've bought some new lights. We've bought a third camera. So there's going to be 3 cameras. We've got a better scoring system. So the production value of the stream, fingers crossed, because if I say too much about it, it's gonna, all the new stuff we bought is gonna fall over and not work. But hopefully the production value of the next stream is going to be way higher than it was on the last one. So sort of getting to a point where like I do actually want to buy some more lights, some more pre-painted terrain, and I also want to get like just another higher quality camera, because one of the ones we're using is kind of older. So that's all in the works as well. So hopefully. And I mean, because I primarily always play Blood Angels, then at least if you guys want to learn stuff and focus in and see how I'm scoring points and stuff, you'll be able to, you'll reliably get Blood Angels content every week. And that's going to be back. So that's, although I'm saying it's starting this Monday, it's going to be back every Monday. And the time will be probably like 7:30 UK time every Monday. We'll have a live game. starting again literally this week. But this week we're going to be playing longer because we're playing 2 games. So we're starting in the morning. But after this week, I guess the idea will be to bake it. Basically, we'll have a live Monday night show. So every Monday you can tune in, and it should be pretty good. I guess that's the aim. Most local games set up terrain pretty poorly, honestly. Mine, shooting armies with first turn will definitely be able to shoot half your army. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons to do this as well, is that, like, if the terrain is picked from another website that's an official website, then there'll be no complaining about, like, one person saying, like, oh, the terrain really didn't work for me that game. We can kind of take that out of the equation a little bit, I guess, is one of the goals to having this. Okay. Do you guys do homemade terrain? So a bunch of the terrain we've got is not Games Workshop terrain. It's just terrain we've bought from other sites. And some of the other terrain that we're thinking of getting is pre-painted terrain. There's a couple of websites in Europe that do it. I'm not entirely sure about America's, but in Europe there's like Game Mats or something, and they do pre-painted terrain. And there's another one. So that's what we're gonna do. Use some of the pre-painted stuff for sure. But I mean, the Games Workshop terrain is absolutely fine. It's just, like, if like me, you have a nasty backlog of models, it's like, do you really want to get a nasty backlog of terrain to do as well? And we don't use like a local gaming store. We've got like a private place that we play. So it's kind of like all of our own setup, and it's all of our own terrain and stuff. And yeah, I'm definitely going to get some better terrain. As I said, like, I bought a bunch of lights, I bought a new microphone, I bought a new camera, so terrain is one of the next things on the list. And we're just going to try and upgrade our setup as much as we can over the next couple of months. And hopefully just deliver really high-level games. And hopefully a lot of Blood Angels wins, because I was on that 8-game win streak before lockdown hit, right? And that was with a really strange list, where we had, like, 700 and some points of shooting in the list, and it was like dedicated shooting, but I mean, it worked, right? So I guess we'll see what happens. I believe that's a website where that's like the world champion website, man. Let me see if I can bring it up. Can Volkite pistols be proxied as bolt pistols? I mean, if you're proxying anything, man, you need to just tell your opponent that you want to proxy stuff, or ask them if you can proxy stuff, because I don't think there's any real... You can't... I think you have to have the model, or you have to tell the opponent that you're proxying, like, unless it's really close. But I don't think bolt pistols look even remotely like those Neo Volkite bolt pistols, or sorry, the Neo Volkite pistols. So I think you need to check with whoever you're playing against that it's all right for you to have or use that. That's my opinion. TT Combat, yeah. Do you know what? I've seen TT Combat stuff. That. I think we may actually even... I think some of the pieces we've got on our table are actually from TD Combat, so I think they're decent. But I think I'm just going to take the lazy approach and try and buy some painted terrain. I think there's some that you can get some really good prices. Like I saw basically a board's worth of terrain for like maybe like under $100, which to me seemed like it was a pretty good offer. And then, you know, we probably wouldn't use it all. We'd like mix in some of it with the existing stuff. And I guess we've got that new kill team box coming as well. So maybe we could make some of those new Necron pieces and add them to our board as well. So terrain is an ongoing thing that we're going to try and improve. I guess it was different before when we weren't streaming the games because we didn't care about the terrain, but now that we're streaming games, we care a little bit more because we want it to look not crap. So I guess leave it with me, and we will definitely be looking to improve. We'll probably be looking to improve a few things over the next 6 months, like the camera, the terrain, and maybe I guess we'll have to see what the sound and the lighting looks like. Hopefully it's better than last time, but it might still need work. Alright, so let me see what I've got here, because I needed to get 3 coats of paint, or 3 colours of paint onto these guys so we can field them. So we've got gold, red, brown, blue, and then the sort of a little bit of parchment on these 3. This guy I forgot to do is Aquila, but he's also got parchment, so that's good. Oh, he's got some up there we could do as well. We'll do that. Volkite pistol, not the Neo Volkite pistol. Yeah, I mean, probably if you have an actual Volkite pistol, that would probably be okay to use as a Neo Volkite pistol, because they kind of look the same, I think. You may just want to also you may just still want to clarify with your opponent like what it is, though, right? Like if he's never seen it before, you probably want to say, hey, this Volkite pistol is a Neo Volkite pistol. But if it's on your army list and you've paid for it and it looks pretty close and you maybe just clarify it, it's probably fine. If you're going to a tournament, you probably need to just clarify it with the tournament organizer. But I mean, if I was playing you and you said, hey, I've got this Volkite pistol and I'm proxying it as a Neo Volkite pistol and it's on this model and this is, you know, you pointed it out to me before the game, then I got absolutely no problem with that. I mean, I generally tell people, if it's casual games, then I tell people to proxy stuff before they buy it, because it is an expensive hobby, right? So you don't want to buy something for a couple of $100 or, you know, buy a couple of new units and then they just don't do what you want them to do. So proxies are fine for casual stuff. I guess, like, we're going to try and keep proxying on the stream to an absolute minimum. But I mean, I guess occasionally there will be something that proxies just because, you know, it's been ordered or it fits the list and it's not come and there's no option, right? Do you have a gaming club or a game store that you film out of for the streams or battles? So it's basically like a private area for my day, like, so the company I work for in my day job have like they have a large office, right? And I guess where we are as a company is like over time the offices have had like you know, like there's an office that's got 20 rooms, let's say, and sometimes all 20 rooms are being used and sometimes all 20 rooms are not being used. So we're actually using one of the private rooms there at the moment, and we've converted it into the setup for the live games. Maybe at some point in the future I have to pay something for the space. I don't know. But at the moment it's fine, and that's where we're using. I don't have enough room in my house, to be honest, actually, for a 40k table. Like, I would have to take over. The only room that's probably big enough would be like my daughter's bedroom. So yeah, but I mean, I have, my house has actually been for sale now for like since November. So I'm hoping to get a bigger house that's got a garage, and then maybe I could do some conversion work. I'm quite handy when it comes to DIY and stuff. I guess, like, you know, in terms of like painting and stuff, I'm all good there. Like, I could definitely paint, right? So I was thinking if I could get a garage, maybe I could convert it into like a small studio for doing the filming. But I guess we'll see. That would be the dream mark. But at the moment, yeah, we've got like a shared, so it's kind of like a private space where we can play and do the production. So that's good. But I mean, it's only come together sort of over the last few months. We actually just got it set up on the 23rd of December, right? That was like the one day that we did it before Christmas. There was the one day of us like testing if it was viable, and then it was like, oh, by the way, from the 26th of December you're in like a 3-month lockdown. And it was like, are you, you know, like one of those like, are you shitting me moments? Like, we just put all this work in to get this ready and now we're not allowed to use it for 3 months. Yeah, it's been it's annoying, I guess. I think I picked up the terrible brush again because I just instantly painted where I didn't want to paint. This is the wrong brush. We use a local game store to play, but we did a test for filming setup and it was too busy for filming. Yeah, I mean, I guess you would need you kind of need a room that's like completely quiet, right? So that like you don't get all the chatter and stuff in the background. Unless you do what I did with my battle reports, Mark, which is you just film the whole games, right? And then afterwards you take the game footage into the sort of editing room and either talk over the top of it or basically like you abridge it, right? So like you just show some key dice rolls or key moments within the game and it's you talking over it. I mean, that's, people actually love those battle reports. I mean, they're a lot of work, right? Because like you have to film the whole game, then you have to get all the footage together, then you have to trawl through like 3 or 4 hours footage to try and find the good bits. So it probably takes like 10 hours to make one of those. So if you but like people love it. Like if you're talking strategy and tactics, they're some of the best performing videos on my channel. So if you wanted to do battle reports and make a stab at it, like I guess this goes for anyone watching, then that's one of the things that people generally really love is they'd rather see you talk about your tactics maybe than watch the whole battle. And I mean, I guess tabletop tactics do that really well as well, right? So they play the game, but while they're playing the game they talk about the tactics and stuff like that, and it can add a lot to the stream. So we're brand new at streaming games, so I guess bear with us for the first few, but I would like to just improve and make the stream and the games just better in general, I guess. So I guess we're getting back to it this week and hopefully it'll be good. I found the eBay terrain link and put it in the members Discord thread. Oh, okay, nice, Mark. Nice, Adam, thank you. Alright, I'm going to put these 5 Vanguard veterans to the side. I think I might do a... This isn't supposed to be the sergeant, is it? Which one was supposed to... Oh, right, he's supposed to be the sergeant. Yes. No, that can't be right, because now he's got 2 storm shields. That's supposed to be... That's right, yeah, okay. 2 Storm Shield Vanguard veterans. What does that? How tanky are they? Alright, I just want to throw... Was this the one? No. I'm going to throw a tiny little bit of green onto this guy's head piece so we know he's a sergeant. Oh, and we could throw a tiny bit of... How many storm shields do you take in a squad of 10? Well, I mean, I currently take 9 on everybody except the sergeant. But we talked about this a little bit earlier tonight, saying that I think it's definitely viable to take less than 10. I think it really depends on what you want from the squad. I don't run 10 Vanguard veterans. I'm just running a squad of 5 at the moment. I have run like squads of 7 or 8, and I've had good success with the 7s or 8. I mean, this squad of 5 is probably the first time I've run 5, to be honest. But this is the first time as well that I'm running them with Lightning Claws, because my other squad are all like Thunder Hammers and Power Fists and stuff. But I don't think there's a right answer to how many storm shields to take, because if you take storm shields on all of them, the squad's as tanky as it can be. If you take storm shields on like half of them, which seems to be common, you sacrifice a bit of survivability for about 10 or 20% more damage. I feel like you're gonna probably be sacrificing more survivability than you are gaining damage, but then it's all situational, right? Like, because you could be getting hit with -1 weapons, or you could be getting hit with -4 weapons. So it's really, I don't think there's any right and wrong reason. I think you have some storm shields in there for sure. Probably at least like 3 or 4 in a 10-man squad, and probably at least 2 or 3 in a 5-man squad. But like, if you want to make them more offensive and less defensive, you know, that's on you. If it fits within your army. If you prefer to go after sort of like that more Alpha Strike approach, then go for it. I think 9th edition there's a lot of weight on surviving and doing actions. So this is one of the reasons that I have storm shields on everyone but the sergeant. And my sergeant wields an infernal pistol, because I figure that if the sergeant's the only one that's left, then we're kind of doomed anyway, right? So, alright. We got 4 guys there with just enough paint on them to make them look non-terrible. And we're going to put a tiny bit of green on this guy's helmet. There ought to be a special rule for double storm shield loadout. Yeah, maybe. That was definitely a mistake. Finished painting up a Blood Angel Terminator Sergeant last night, and it took me ages. I've never painted a model that's sort of like a character apart from a Primaris Librarian. Nice though. It's always a win when you finish a character, right? Because you spend a lot of time on characters, I feel like. So congratulations on finishing a character. I always think characters are super rewarding compared to squads as well, because it's just that one model, you know. So it's like, sometimes when you're doing a squad of 10, it can take you a long time to get like a win in terms of painting. And I guess what I mean by a win is just like a completed model that you're really proud of. So sometimes I like to, like, if I've just painted a squad of 11, then I like to paint like a character or two to sort of like get myself another win or two, and then go back to like another big mass batch paint. Because I do a lot of batch painting, right? Like, usually I'll paint up to, let's say, about 15 models at a time, batch painting. I have done more. I think I've done like 20 before in batch paint, but when you do those 20 model batch paints, it can be a long time before you sort of get that win where it's like, right, great, I'm ready to call these guys done and move on, you know. So sometimes it's nice to mix that up with a character or two afterwards to, you know, help with the motivation, or help with the, you know. And I guess if you look at models in terms of how much points they cost and stuff like that, the characters generally cost like a lot of points. So if you're talking about, like, if you're looking at like how much stuff you've painted over the last little while, then if you've painted a bunch of characters, you can be like, yeah, you know, I painted a lot of points because these characters were really expensive in terms of points. So nice job finishing up something, Dolph. Congrats. You must be pretty new to the hobby then, man. It's a shame that Assault Marines are generally not the strongest, not that strong, as the Sergeant can take a power weapon and an Infernal Pistol and a combat shield for the 2+5+, perhaps 5-man with 2 meltas. Yeah, I mean, assault squads are real weird. I kind of feel like a few of those Firstborn squads have been left kind of in like weird positions, right? And I mean, I think the assault squad, the Sergeant can take an Eviscerator as well, and it's like, is that the only Marine unit that can take the Eviscerator? Like, it's just a bit weird. To me, it just feels a bit weird. The assault, like, I don't know what they were I don't know what they were thinking with those old units, or what they weren't thinking rather. And I guess they were just trying to keep them alive in some sense, but they didn't put all that much time and thought into it. Honestly, I totally dig the Vanguard veterans, though. I just wasn't sure when I started them. I was like, what about making them gold? And like, I absolutely dig it. Someone in Facebook this week said that they really didn't like how Sanguinary Guard looked, and I was like, oh really? I never had a problem with how the Sanguinary Guard looked. Assault Marines still have 1 base attack, so they probably won't see light of day. Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't rate tactical squads as well, because, like, bolt guns are generally just poor now, I feel like. And your tactical Marines have 1 attack as well. So, like, one of the strongest things about the Blood Angels is that, like, our units can be decent in close combat. Well, no unit's going to be decent if it's got 1 attack, right? Okay, so I wanted to put a little bit more paint on this guy, because he is going to be fielded... he is going to be fielded in this battle on Monday, and obviously you can see here he's not finished, so I've got about 35 more minutes of painting time tonight, so I'm glad I got enough paint on those Vanguard veterans. I'm just going to put them to the side, and I'm just going to put a little bit more paint on this guy that I've been working on. I might actually do some of the silver on him, because he kind of has a decent start on the base coats, I guess. I think I will, maybe I'll start with his helmet though. Maybe put another coat of red on this though, because it's patchy AF. I mean, he's mostly base coated, but this guy was actually the conversion from the Indomitus Chaplain, you know? This is an Outrider converted into a Primaris Chaplain on a bike. What I meant by the Volkite thing is my Chapter Master is as old as the Imperium, so I want to show it by using a Volkite pistol instead of a bolt pistol. Alright, you want to... Well, I mean, I come back to magnets. If you want them to look cool like that, but then you want to use them in a tournament at a later date, I feel like you got to use magnets, man. I don't know if you have any other option there, because Chapter Masters certainly can't wield Volkite pistols. As much as I would like it that they can, you know, it's not an option. But I mean, it would look cool, don't get me wrong. I think it would look very cool. I didn't originally like the Sanguinary Guard, as I preferred our old Honor Guard tradition look with gold helmets and skull shoulders. I don't know if I remember Like, when you say skull shoulders, did the Honor Guard have a custom skull shoulder? Because if they did, I don't remember that. I want to say I had a box of Honor Guard, but this was like... This would have been like 20 years ago at this point. I maybe even have... maybe even have... The Honor Guard were metal models, right? Because I do have some old metal models that are just sitting in a box that, like, I just... When I came back to the hobby, I haven't even really opened that box. Because it's just like, I got plenty of new stuff to do. I don't know. Painting the metal models is never that enjoyable either, right? And it absolutely wrecks your paintbrushes, so... Not that I can really talk about wrecked paintbrushes, because I'm always using a wrecked one, but... for whatever reason, I seem to be able to wreck them very, very quickly. Third edition Honor Guard. Yeah, about third edition. First company emblem, it's a skull rather than the blood drop. So was it actually a plastic shoulder with a skull in the shoulder? I don't remember that. Maybe I never had them. Maybe I just had Assault Marines back then and used them as Honor Guard. Hey Commander, can you help me decide how many more Hellbusters I need? I have 5 of the heavy and assault and 10 regulars. I have another 10-man box, but I want to save some bodies for converting. How many Hellbusters do you run in your army, man? Why do you need so many? Like, I only have 10 Hellbusters. I think it's Tony in the chat that runs 15 assault ones. But I haven't run my Hellbusters since like the start of 8th edition when they first came out. So I guess I'm probably not the person to ask on what to do with more boxes of Hellbusters. But yeah, I mean, why do you feel you need so many? And how do you run them, I guess, if you've got that many? Oh, you got deals. Oh, do you know what? I'm so sad that they don't do that anymore. I got the Blood Angels Aggressors, 2 boxes of them. You know, when they came with the damn proper Aggressor Blood Angel shoulder pads and all that stuff. Evening, Elder. How you doing, brother? But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was going to run Hellbusters, I'm probably doing what Tony was doing and running like assault Hellbusters. And Tony was running 15 of them, which I guess comes in at like, they're 165 points a squad, right? So 15 of them is like the best part of 500 points. Like 495 points. I'm not running 495 points of Hellbusters. No way. The only shooting that I really have in my current list, or the only dedicated shooting that doesn't do anything else, I have are 3 attack bikes with multi-meltas. I think. I mean, I just made the list today, so there could be something else in there, but no, I think that's it. Just 3 attack bikes with multi-meltas. Oh, I mean, I guess I got a whirlwind, but I wouldn't really count that as shooting because it's not really. It's not gonna. The whirlwind. If the whirlwind kills something, I'll be impressed, but I'm not really expecting it to kill much at all. Just you just get transfers these days. You get the Crux Terminat shoulder pads, which kind of do the same thing. They used to have a skull shoulder pad, though. I never remember the skull shoulder pad. I know in the Vanguard Veteran box Highland, you get those Crux Terminat as shoulder pads because I've used them. You know, like a bunch of these Vanguard veterans here are using those ones. Let me see. Do you know what? The 5 that I just painted, none of them have it. Do they? No. Of the 5 I just painted, none of them have the Crux Terminatus, but here's one that's just off camera that actually has it. So we are using those Crux Terminatus ones on. But yeah, I know. I never remember. I mean, I know that Khorne get like skull shoulder pads, but I do not remember Blood Angel shoulder pads that are skulls. I'd love to see a photo. Maybe it'll jig my memory, and maybe I actually do have some of them. But yeah, I do not remember that. Back in 2nd edition, though, I didn't run a whole heap of jump units outside the Death Company. 2nd and 3rd edition and 4th edition, I think most of my jump units were just Death Company. I like mad shit. I wouldn't recommend it ever running one of my lists. I mean, your lists win games, Tony, so I mean, you could say, you know, as much as you maybe want to say, don't copy me, you do win games. So that is, you know, that's something. I have a 3rd edition Elder Codex. Yeah, I mean, I have the 2nd edition and the 4th edition Blood Angels Codex. I think the 4th edition one actually came as a supplement in White Dwarf, because it's like a printout that I've got, which is kind of mad that you actually think that they actually gave some codexes away as supplements for free, essentially. Well, I mean, or the cost of a White Dwarf, I guess. They're just like $3 or $4 probably back in the day. But yeah, this model is actually, I think the Primaris Chaplain on a bike is just, even though this isn't the official model, I still think it's an awesome model. The size of the Outriders is nice, and then making him into sort of like a badass looking Chaplain is also very nice. I'm going to put some white on this Chaplain's head here in a second, because this was a custom head I bought off eBay, so hopefully it looks pretty cool once we get some white on it. It's super hard to see the detail in it because it's just sprayed black at the moment, but I think it's going to be interesting once we jump on here in a second and put some white on it. Let me just put this Celestial on this Crozius. I like that Crozius, it's pretty cool. Is it me, or does the Traitor Legions have some of the best iconography on their pre-heresy heraldry? I mean, what base should I put my captain on a bike on? I have a biker sprue on the way from eBay, and I'm just wondering which is the correct one to throw him on. So I believe the correct one to throw him on is the 75 times 25 base. No. Let me pull it up because I was looking at it. I think maybe you can just do biker base. Nope. So I think there's 70 times 25 bases. 70 times 25. And you'll just get them straight off the GW website. They're like $4 for 5 of them. However, I put mine on the 75 times 42 ones. Now it's kind of in a weird situation because the official rules for bases were the model should be on the base that it came with when you bought it. But if it didn't come with a base, it shouldn't even be on a base or something. And my bikes are so old, like they're from the early 90s. They 100% didn't come on bases. So I bought the 75 times 42s thinking that they were the perfect size, and they kind of feel like they are the perfect size for bikers. But I believe the correct ones is just the 70 times 25s, but so I'm probably going to order some 70 times 25s on payday or something, but like I'm not going to rip mine off currently. I haven't decided. I mean, where did you get the book on the chaplain? So this was an Indomitus chaplain, right? And what I did was I built an outrider up until sort of the waist, and then this is the top part of the body of an Indomitus chaplain, like the chest piece and this one arm. This is the Crozius from like the Jump Pack Blood Angels specific one, and the book actually came off the back of the so the Indomitus chaplain had this book like attached to his midsection at the back. So like I cut that off, and actually in here, like where his chest is, I guess all this, like that's all filled with green stuff, because obviously the chaplain chest didn't quite fit onto the legs. So I just packed that area up with green stuff. And then I bought this. I really liked the headpiece for the chaplain on the bike headpiece. I thought was super dope, right? Like the skull head. So this is some sort of skull head that I bought off eBay. So I guess we'll just try and put some white over it, and we'll see how it looks. It's sort of like, it's almost like a mask skull stuck to the helmet. My hand is shaking tonight. Not actually sure how far to go back with the skull part. Like maybe the skull part is just supposed to sort of be the front of the helmet, and then maybe we'll do like, he's got some sort of crown on as well, it seems like, so maybe we'll do like the crown in grey. And take it from there or something. But yeah, I mean, I bought one box of Indomitus. I got trades for like another 2 or 1.5 boxes, I guess. So my thought was really like, I really don't need 9 Outriders. I've actually built 3 of my Outriders because I've actually converted a Blood Angels captain, or sorry, a Primaris captain on a bike as well, but obviously there's no rules for Primaris captains on a bike, so I have that converted as well, because I imagine that at some point we will get rules for a Primaris captain on a bike, right? They give us Primaris chaplain on a bike, why wouldn't they give us the captain on the bike? So I already got one of those, like, again, converted from an Outrider, just sitting waiting for the day that happens, I guess. I like the Thousand Suns and Death Guard the best from the group of symbols. Do you know what? I don't follow Horus Heresy nearly enough. I am reading some of the Horus Heresy books at the moment. I'm trying to get through the Solar War. But I don't follow a whole lot of the heraldry from Horus Heresy stuff. But it's cool that you're building your first sort of conversion Dolph, because I think the conversions part is one of the funnest parts of the hobby, right? Like finding some characters that you like, and also, I mean, it can save you a ton of money, right? For example, like the Primaris Chaplain on a bike cost $30. Well, I just made this one for like nothing, and I mean, it was just out of parts I already had. I mean, I guess I did buy the helmet on eBay, so I guess I paid like $3 or $4 for some helmets, but it wasn't just one helmet, it was like a pack of helmets I got. So I know you're in America, so I mean, this guy costs $29 in the UK. $29 is a lot for a single character, I feel like. So I guess in America you're probably looking at like 40 or 50. And yeah, I think $50 for a single model is kind of mad. I mean, I guess that like there is export costs and stuff to get it over to America, but yeah, I mean, it still seems mad to me that that's how much they charge for a single model. It's a lot. You inspired me to do a ton of conversions. Oh right, you're in Ireland, so I'm in the Euro. Okay, sorry, I thought you were in America. I thought you were in America because you said that you had the problem with eBay, but okay, Ireland. I'm glad that I've inspired you to do conversions, man. Conversions are great fun, and they give your army like a unique level of flavor, right? Like. And you don't have to push every conversion to the limit. You know, like sometimes it can be as simple as like, hey, I would like a different shoulder pad on this guy. And I mean, that's what my Blade Guard veterans are, right? Like they literally just have Blood Angels Terminator shoulder pads on them and Sanguinary Guard swords. So it's like, it's not a huge conversion. It's just a little bit of flavor that maybe makes them different, makes them a little bit interesting. I totally love doing the conversions. Yeah, this kind of interesting helmet. I mean, it's not probably quite as cool as the official Games Workshop one, but I mean, and it's really hard for me to let you see that up close. Once I get some detail on that, I think the face is actually going to be pretty cool. Love the battle reports. They're really tempting me back into the hobby, and haven't done anything past 5th edition. Wow, okay, Brandon. Well, you should. I mean, the hobby's a lot different from what it used to be, and I think it's better. Originally, I really liked the old rules. You know, like I grew up playing 2nd edition. The hobby was crazy complicated then. Games took forever, I guess, and. Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun with some of the depth and stuff that you did get in 2nd edition. So when I first came back, I wasn't super sold straight away. But like once I started getting, you know, a few games under my belt and stuff, I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, the new rules are a lot more streamlined. The game does play a lot more quickly. It still feels very tactical. So I think there's a lot to like with the modern, whatever you want to call it, the modern rule set. And yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are getting back into Warhammer. I don't know if it's an age thing, you know, because like I was obviously into it when I was a very young kid. I fell out of it for like probably a decade, you know, and then came back. So maybe like a lot of people are sort of like returning to the roots. I mean, I still occasionally play video games, right? Like, I don't dislike video games at all. Like, but I do feel like I spent like a whole decade playing video games. And yeah, I mean, I maybe even 2 decades like playing video games all the time, or maybe not all the time, but like in my free time, 50% of the time, if I wasn't doing something, I'd be playing a video game, right? And generally, I still do enjoy video games. Like, just today, I was actually playing the new God of War game a little bit when my daughter was sleeping on me at lunchtime. Because my daughter's very young, so it's like when she's sleeping on you, there's not much you can do. You can either watch the telly or play a video game. So I was playing PlayStation 4 earlier, and I do enjoy video games still, but I think that there's a much more social aspect to the Warhammer, right? Like, you make more friends, you can chat more, there's more strategy, there's sort of like that feeling of like, I guess, both camaraderie, in that like you can get excited about new releases together, but there's also like a competitive feel. Like, I never feel like I'm competing against my friends in a video game. Like, no one ever, like in my situation, like I can never tell you when I'm going to be free to play a video game, right? Because I have a young daughter and it's literally when she falls asleep on me. Whereas like if I arrange with my friends, like, hey, on Monday night, do you want to play some Warhammer? I can tell my wife, like, hey, I need time off on Monday night to go play some Warhammer, and like you get sort of like the social, you hang out, you have a laugh, and it's like it's a whole different thing. And for me anyway, as I've got older, I'd much prefer that, I guess, to video game. Like, I mean, as I say, I still like video games, I still play them, but then potentially as well, there's also the collection part as well, right? Like, you have this really cool collection of models that you've spent a lot of time on. You can be very proud of them. You can share them with friends. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people are getting back into 40k. It feels like. I think Warhammer has a lot to offer, and right now, like I if I have nothing doing of an evening now, like I'm always doing Warhammer stuff. It's like I'd much rather do the Warhammer stuff than do the video game. But I mean, it's just the way of the. I think it's the way of like you. It was something you enjoyed when you were younger. You're now older. And it's a hobby that you can actually put time into, get a reward, and maybe make, maybe reconnect with some old friends. That's what I've done anyway, but also maybe make some new friends as well, Honestly, I have no clue what I did to be banned from eBay. Yeah, I don't know what you did to be banned from eBay, but if you get your attack bike, then I guess that's the main thing, right? You must have done something wrong, yes. Oh, there's a little bit of this Crozius not snipped off there. Wow. This is an old model that I did when I was younger, so I guess maybe I didn't snip that bit off. That's tragic. I hate seeing bits of models like that are not cleaned up properly. Where's my knife? Where is my knife? Here we go. Yeah, I love conversions, especially with the characters, as you can go a bit mad and it's only a one-off model, so you can do what you like. Yeah, you're 100% right. Conversions on characters is definitely a fun thing to do. I probably do more conversions on characters, or maybe like I said with the Blade Guards, like if they're a squad that you really think's going to gel with your with the Blood Angels, then maybe you spend a little bit longer on them or something, right? Come on. Get off there. What do you think about using Kill Team as a method of getting back in? It's tempting with regards to how it costs. Effective is it? List building? I mean, the Kill Team box that they just came out with the heavy Intercessors, cost effectively, I don't think it's that. It's yeah, I mean, it's probably not the best way to get back in, because the new Kill Team box, you only get like 6 Marines, which is kind of lackluster. If you'd managed to pick up like the Indomitus box, I don't know if Indomitus is still on sale, but Indomitus had a lot of models in it, right? Like it could definitely get you back in. I actually made a video on how to build from an Indomitus box into like a fully fledged Blood Angels army. Maybe did that when Indomitus launched, like maybe like August or September last year, I guess. But I mean, like, if you're not wanting to get into Blood Angels specifically, and you're just wanting to get back in, then I mean, Kill Team is a great little game. It's quick. It might pretty much probably playing Kill Team is how I got back into being a bit more competitive, because I went to a Kill Team tournament, and to go to the Kill Team tournament, literally you just needed 6 models painted, right? So like, as a Marine player anyway, it was like 6 models, and then from that I was like, oh yeah, I really enjoy this. I don't even know why I quit. I mean, I think I just quit like for some, I had some personal stuff go on in my life when I quit playing Warhammer, so I couldn't even, I was thinking back, I was like, why did I stop playing Warhammer? Like I couldn't even remember the reason that I quit. So I think I just quit because other things were going on in life, and I didn't make the time that, you know, or whatever, right? So Kill Team is a way to get back in. The Kill Team box, is it going to be the most cost-effective way to get back in though? Probably not. But I mean, if you just wanted to get a couple armies together, or a couple, you know, if you just want to get some units on the board and play again and see if you enjoy it, then I mean, I guess Kill Team would be a way to do that. Because otherwise, yeah, you are talking like a couple of $100 to get enough stuff to put together like a 500 point list or something to play actual Warhammer 40k, right? Hey, Woven Back, thank you very much for following. Appreciate that, brother. I spent 10 years playing EVE Online. It was almost a second job. I did make some lifelong friends around the world, and I still talk to them in Discord. Yeah, so I mean, I guess you can make friends in video games, but at the same time, like, I do think that Warhammer is a great way, or is a great hobby to like make friends and do a social thing. And yeah, I think a lot of older people are returning to Warhammer. It seems like every week there's people on the YouTube comments that say like, hey, I haven't played in like 10 years and I'm coming back. Like, and then there's also new players all the time. I get the same comments all the time, like, "Hey, I'm new. Your videos have really helped." So I think it's actually kind of crazy how many people are maybe either returning to Warhammer or just picking up Warhammer all the time. So if you're thinking about getting back on it, I would say go for it, man. Because like, I don't regret. The only regret you'll have, and I suppose if you're thinking about buying stuff, maybe you won't. I was going to say the only regret I have is the stuff that I painted when I was 15-year-old was ridiculously bad. Like, I didn't think it was bad at the time, and I didn't think like before I saw it. You know, like I painted it 20 years ago, and I was like, oh yeah, I had all those tanks painted and stuff. Yeah. But then when I actually looked at it, I was like, oh my god, this stuff is it's just painted like so badly. Like, I just had no clue. So I've got like all my old stuff, and like none of it reaches the table because it's just all so terrible. I guess one day, once I've painted all my new stuff, I'll probably strip it and or I'll just paint over it if I can, touch it all up. But yeah, it's generally quite terrible. So that's the one thing, the one downside that I'm seeing. I buy mostly Firstborn because the US Tactic Marines can be £20 cheaper than Intercessors. I mean, that's crazy that the Intercessors are that much more expensive. I mean, I guess maybe you just need to try and find a reseller that are selling them a bit cheaper, right? Covered in bees. I'm in the same spot. The local GW guys have invited me to come in store for my first game and have pointed me in the direction of a couple of local clubs once I know my way around a D6. Fingers crossed you can get the same. Nice. You were saying you were just going to university a few weeks ago, though, Dolph. I mean, like, if you're at university, I'd be very surprised if there's not some sort of Warhammer university club or a tabletop board game club, and you'll definitely meet some people that like Warhammer as well. I would definitely check that out whenever it's safe to do that. You know, when COVID's down or whatever. But you know, in some of the Games Workshop stores, you can just go in for the day and you can just hang out and do some painting there. Very much like how we hang out here. I mean, the hobby hangouts that I do are very much like, you know, what I would have done when I was younger, which is like go to a Games Workshop store and just hang out in the store, take your paints with you, paint a couple of models, and you know, other people do that as well, and you could meet somebody, arrange a game, you know, arrange a small game in the store. If you guys get on well, then you know, take it one step further and like try and, you know, go to a club like you said, or go to someone's house and play a game. That Alright, I'm going to paint for like 2 more minutes and then I'm going to call it a night. But I am going to be back tomorrow. For a live show at 4 o'clock, right? We are live every Sunday at 4 o'clock to do the Army List show. So that's definitely going on tomorrow. And then on Monday we have live games. So 2 live games, one against Death Guard, one against Custodes. And if you want to see the lists for those games, they're all actually up in the Discord right now. The Discord link is in the video description. And I guess if you're following on Twitch, which I guess some people are, I will send out I'll send out the Discord link in the chat. So if anyone on Twitch wanted to come and join our Discord, you know, we have a bunch of Blood Angels players that hang out every day in Discord, and we generally just we chat about everything from pandemic issues to army lists. Last night, actually, we were hanging out in the voice room in Discord for a few hours, me and like 4 or 5 community members, and we were just talking about my list, actually. Which is funny because every week on the live show I talk about you guys' lists, try and help you make your lists better. Well, last night it was help me make my list better. And I'm actually really happy with my list now. Do you know what? If I lose both games, I'll maybe say something different. But I think I have seen the Death Guard list, and I have seen, like, we all shared our lists at the same time, so there's no tailoring, or there was no chance to change everything. So everybody made their lists in secret. And I've seen their lists, and I need to give them a proper look over, like spend an hour looking at them, making sure I'm familiar with all the stratagems and stuff, because some things have changed since we last played Death Guard, and I guess Custodes are just on their old edition codex, so I haven't looked at that for a little while. But I think overall, I'm very pleased with where the Blood Angels list landed, and I didn't manage to fit my Centurions in, but I am going to fit my Centurions into a game very soon because they just look so damn cool, and I've wanted Centurions probably for about 3 editions now. Every time I'm flicking through the Space Marine Codex, it was like, oh, there's Centurions. I wish we could have Centurions. Well, now we finally can, and you know, I've got 3 of them ready to go, magnetized, painted, so we'll be hopefully fielding some Centurions in the future. Do you know what, this helmet, I think once I get some more paint on this helmet, it should be pretty cool. If you lose both games, it's because you dropped the Librarian Dreadnought. Well, yeah. I don't know. I like the Librarian Dreadnought. You know, he does do work, but I just felt like you guys said last night that there was mortal wounds are going to help me out, right? A lot against Death Guard and Custodes, and now I have a chaplain who can basically reroll everything, and he can dish out a ton of mortal wounds, and also I'm actually going to be able to prevent a ton of the mortal wounds that the Death Guard player is going to kick out, right? Because I picked Litany of Faith. I mean, Litany of Faith doesn't give me much against the Custodes army, but I think I'm okay with that because I can just run like Litany of Hate and Mantra of Strength, I guess, it's Stodes. But yeah, I think the Litany of Faith is going to turn out to be a high value pick. And I've used Litany of Faith against Death Guard before, and it has been a fairly high value pick. So I guess we'll see if my logic on that choice was correct. And if we didn't, and then you're right, Tony. Then I should have just taken the Librarian Dreadnought and just suckered it up. But do you know what? That's a video for another day. We just have so many good HQ options, right? It's really difficult to pick. I mean, if we had 10 HQ slots, we could probably fill all 10 with good options. Another model done. Just finished my Relic Contemptor at last. Well done, Adam. Nice. Congrats. It's always a great feeling when you finish a model, you know? It makes it all worthwhile, right? You can get Litany of Faith as a Warlord trait. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can take Soul Warden and not worry about it, but I kind of had all my Warlord traits and stuff sort of all picked out already. So it was kind of... yeah, I mean, I guess I could have kept the Librarian Dreadnought, but do you know what, the extra points, I can't remember, I spent the extra points on something. Oh yeah, I spent the extra points on making the other Librarian a Chief Librarian, which you know, an extra deny against the Death Guard might be useful. I don't know, we'll see. My list, I'm sure, is not perfect. I think it's a strong list. I'm sure I'll tweak it because I always do tweak lists. I actually think that you learn more when you lose a game than you win a game. So if we lose one of the games, maybe that's for the best and we'll make that list even stronger. But cool. Well, thank you very much for watching tonight, guys, and hanging out. As always, it's much appreciated. It's nice to see you all. And yeah, we'll be back at 4 tomorrow for the live show, so hopefully we'll see some of you then. And if not, hopefully we'll see some of you in the chat for the live games on Monday. And hopefully we'll actually be able to answer some of the stuff in chat, because last time we couldn't really read the chat when we're playing, but we have this new setup, so we should be able to at least see the chat up on a big screen, so we can maybe answer some questions. We won't be answering a million questions during chat, and maybe you'll need to like actually put question or something into your phrase. But yeah, I mean, we can also do some sort of post-mortem video on the games as well. Actually, that might be something to do, to talk about the games, to take questions, to look in hindsight. So cool. Yeah, no, it's been really nice to see you all tonight. And if you did enjoy the stream, please consider hitting that like button. It does help me out a lot. And yeah, thanks all for watching. I'll see you in Discord. Make sure you join if you're not in there already, or I'll see you in the Facebook group. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow, 4 o'clock. So have a great evening, guys. Talk to you all soon. By the blood are we made. Peace.